Richard Morrow, or better known as Master, was born before the Great War, but little is known about his past except for the fact that he was one of the lucky few who found shelter in Vault-8 when the bombs fell. He traveled to the newly founded hub, which was more than 400 miles south, and established himself as a doctor there, adopting the last name Gray. Dr. Gray became popular, especially with one of the caravan masters that went by the name Harold, who considered him a brilliant doctor and philosopher. Along with gangers and scavengers, mutants were the primary problem for the caravans, and their attacks were increasing. Harold, a noted local merchant at the time, organized an expedition to try and find the source of the mutations and shut it down if possible. Richard Gray joined this expedition, assuming leadership. The expedition itself launched in mid-2102. Gray led a small group consisting of Harold, Francine, Mark, and several others to investigate the northwestern direction where most of the attacks were coming from. On June 23rd, the expedition discovered the Mariposa Military Base and the hordes of mutants within, alongside vicious security bots. The group sustained a significant amount of casualties while fighting their way into the base. Dr. Gray and Harold were the only ones to locate and enter the Vats, only for the robot crane to crash into them. Harold was knocked out, awakening later in the wasteland. His last memory of the base was the sight of Gray being thrown into what appeared to be an acid bath, a vat full of FEV. Gray floated in the slime for days, nearly drowning, with the extreme levels of exposure starting him on the path of becoming the Master. After he regained consciousness and dragged himself from the Vats, he continued to mutate after the week-long immersion. The mutation eventually stabilized, enough for him to notice his greatly increased mental capacity, capable of resolving the most complex of philosophical questions. He began experimenting on animals infesting the military base by exposing them to the virus. When he dipped a rat and a dog into the virus at the same time, the resulting fusion inspired him to begin formulating a philosophy of unification, laying down the groundwork for the unity. However, experiments were disrupted by the lack of subjects and his own limited understanding of the virus. In December of 2102, following a series of directed mutations by injecting doses of the virus into various areas of his mutated body, Gray gained the ability to neurologically link with computers, allowing him to access the base's databanks. Aided by the data, he began experiments on humans who strayed into the facility at first, without much luck. Finally, in 2103, he isolated radiation exposure as the crucial factor affecting transformation success. The first intelligent supermutant was assimilated by Gray himself as a fellow mind, creating the fledgling Master Hive Mind. In 2131, the Master decided to focus on acquiring subjects, ironically given his original mission, from the increasing numbers of the caravans crossing the wasteland. By 2137, there was enough supermutants to sustain mass production. While the success rate was between 15 and 20% with half going to join the Master's army, they grew rapidly into a potent military force. For the next 15 years, the Unity expanded over New California, adding to its ranks and preparing to make their presence known.